They were not prepared. And then they all dropped out to consolidate the moderate vote. They exhumed Biden, dusted him off, hit him with some fucking adrenaline, and boom, we got fucked. We got fucked, bro. We got fucked. You know? Biden had he had Congress and the White House for 2 years. He couldn't get shit done. He didn't get rid of the student loans. He did like a piecemeal thing. Didn't do anything about prices. Didn't do a fucking total dud. And not for nothing, anybody that has been watching me for a while, you know I saw it coming. Because it was the same thing. Is Pennsylvania has produced 2 presidents in American history. And one of them was James Buchanan, largely and widely considered to be the worst president of all time. His wishy-washy, weak ass directly resulted in the Civil War. And then we had racial instability leading up to this new election. Here we get a weak man from Pennsylvania again. I was like, fuck, bro. But at least we didn't have the Civil War this time. We fucking averted that one. Gee whiz. If Trump didn't beat the shit out of Biden on that debate stage, who the fuck knows where we'd be, bro? Who the fuck even knows? That's a shame to hear that about that. I was not aware that is how things went down in Canada. That's a shame. And now you're stuck with it. How did the terms work in Canada? How long are you stuck with this guy? He just did a podcast with Joe Rogan. He did he? Oh, Pierre fucking can't say that French ass name. That's the guy you're talking about. Huh. I remember seeing that and that name and hearing that. I could never pronounce it. You know what I mean? I can't speak French. It's fucked up. They don't say half of the letters in the word. You know? He just did a podcast with Joe Rogan. 4-year terms, but no term limit. Woo, doggy. Well, I mean, if he's not doing the one thing that he said he was going to do, maybe you got another shot in a couple years. Oh, man. I needed some fucking agua, bro. Holy shit. Thanks, honey. Ooh, doggy. Yeah, that's a shame. So all right, so I see what's going on here. You also seem to, I know you've expressed some disdain for the tariffs that America has applied against Canada. Totally understandable. But it's even deeper than that, because you see that as being one of the primary reasons you got this fucking dud instead of the possibility of somebody who could actually make some changes. Does that sound like that I can? Okay, I'm understanding where you're coming from with that now. That sucks. I mean, who knows? Maybe Pierre would have been worse. You know, I don't know. Sometimes it's easy to tell, right? Like I'm thankful every day that Kamala Harris didn't win. I know that lady would have been worse. Holy shit. You know, and not only that, we'd be in our 2nd year with troops in Ukraine, probably. Yeah, Trump even talked shit about Poliv, you know, and said some nice things about the liberal guy Carney. That's fucking hilarious. He probably didn't want a conservative guy to come in and push back on his tariffs. He's like, yeah, let's push this pussy over in Canada, and I'm just gonna run his ass over with my tariffs. Oh, that's fucked up, bro. People thought he would be Trump 2.0 because he doesn't speak nicely like a fake ass politician. He speaks directly about the issues. People appreciate that more and more, you know, because there's a realness to it. And you can see the Democrats in America trying to be authentic because now they're saying curse words, so they think that that's the authenticity people are looking for. You know what I mean? But when really the authenticity people are looking for is just fucking being real. Just talk straight. You don't gotta say, well, I appreciate the question and thank you everybody for being here. You know what I mean? Like, quit stroking our meat. Get to the point. Time is money. You know what I mean? I appreciate that too. You know? And I'm a fairly articulate guy, so I can appreciate an orator like Obama was, even though I didn't fuck with Obama. I can appreciate somebody who can give a coherent, direct speech and sound polished, sound official, and like, you know, they say sound presidential. I think that they just are talking about, you know, somebody that sounds like he knows what he's talking about, is being direct and speaking directly to you. I like that. I like Trump. Sometimes, bro, the sentences that come out of Trump's mouth got so many fucking commas in them, I forget where the fuck the sentence started. You know what I mean? So he doesn't necessarily check that box of clear oration, you know. But I think he's has a different style of giving a speech, and I think that it leaves room for people to be able to pick at things he says and hold him to the letter of what he said, when really I think a lot of times you got to kind of read between the lines a little bit. I think a lot of his communications are a work, because he knows it's going to be covered and he knows how it's going to be covered, and I think he uses that to his advantage. So what happened to this Pierre fellow? He was on Rogan the other day, so he's not going anywhere? Is he hanging around for a bit? Is he taking another run at things? Or does he kind of faded to the background for a little bit? Like, you know what I mean? He's still the leader of the Conservatives. Okay. So you guys got like actual proper party leaders. You know, nobody knows who leads the parties over here. They're like, oh, Pelosi's leading the party. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm just fucking making money on the markets. They're like, oh, Schumer's running the party. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm not running shit. AOC's running the party. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you can say that Trump is running the Republicans because he's the president right now. But without a clear figurehead in an official capacity, I can't really tell you who's running these parties. But lately, there have been some floor crossers who have left the Conservatives or the more left NDP party to go join the Liberals and give them more power. Yeah, that's what my buddy told me is going on over in the UK as well. He said these smaller, like third and fourth parties that are a little bit more liberal, but they're not business as usual, like neo-libs. That was kind of the impression that I got about what's going on over there too. See, I don't know what the voting system you guys got is, but we got first past the post voting, which is always going to reduce things to two options. You know, so until we change the voting system, we're always only going to have the two. The other parties are just spoilers or, you know, placeholders for people who want to be ideologically pure with their vote and not get their hands dirty and compromised. By the way, for everybody that's watching, I'm going to put this here.
One more for the good
guys.
One
more for the good guys. All right. Bogos, I appreciate the follow, bro. I'm putting in the chat here. The music that's been in the background this whole show has been from Absolutely Chill Music on YouTube. They live stream like fantasy synth, like D&D synth type music like we've been listening to, and the stream just runs 24/7. It's pretty fantastic. So I just wanted to provide a little link since they've been providing us some background tunes. Check them out when you get a chance. You know, pretty cool stuff. I like music. Music, in my opinion, is as close to magic as the mainstream gets. You know, I think magic, like the supernatural elements and stuff, is kind of still taboo and pushed to the fringe. But music is magic in itself, and it's extremely popular in mainstream, and that's just wild to me, bro. Just wild to me. I don't think people put enough respect on music. Oh man, I tell you though, there hasn't been a whole lot of floor crossers here. The partisans are pretty dug in. And not for nothing, the thing that sucks about it, because like, all right, so I say the Democrats are on my shit list, and they are. That party is on my shit list, but the Republicans have been on my shit list pretty much my whole life, and I still ended up having to pull the trigger for them because you only get two options. You know what I mean? So it's like the partisans are dug in. There's like this great consolidation of partisanship in this country because the numbers for independent voters are going up. You know, I know that there are some activists that are working on consolidating current non-voters or independents and unaffiliated or even third-party voters, and the large parties are actively trying to consolidate that to try to buff their numbers back up. But as far as floor crossers, I mean, you know, Tulsi and RFK, they were both Democrats, and now they're in the Trump administration. I don't know that makes them necessarily Republican. I think Tulsi might be registered Republican now. I'm pretty sure she left the Democrats. I'm not sure what RFK's affiliation is, but I guess that's the closest thing that I could consider to what you're calling here floor crossers for what, you know, just recently here in America. I mean, Arlen Specter was back in like the 90s. And I think there have been a couple since him, really, but that was a big one. They don't really change their party affiliation a whole lot here in America. The politicians don't. But then you get things like, you know, Murkowski or fucking Susan Collins, which these are you know, Susan Collins is a Republican who consistently finds herself at odds with the Trump train, whether you call that conservative, neocon, whatever you call MAGA. You know, she's kind of put herself at odds with them, and it doesn't seem to be in a conservative way, more like leaning a little liberal. So I wouldn't call her a floor crosser because she's registered Republican still, but she's a persuadable, as they said back during the great hack during the 2016 election, big run up in 2015. You know, shit, what was the name of that fucking company now? Cambridge Analytica, with the great hack. They were on Trump's team, and they basically were targeting persuadables to bombard them with information to move them off of Hillary. Whether it moved them to Trump or not, the objective was to move them off of Hillary. And what they did was they collected data points to create voter profiles, and then determined, based on these data points, whether you were persuadable or not, or if you were a dug-in partisan with your mind made up. And then they targeted the persuadables and basically bombarded them with propaganda to dissuade them from supporting Hillary Clinton, which, okay, I guess, but, you know, fuck, bro. I think that might have been a little overboard. Hillary Clinton's been disliked for as long as I can remember. You know, like the only people I know that ever liked Hillary Clinton are, you know, white goose step fucking Democrats that don't break from the party or